Okay,
Okay.
hello everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
party. So with me today, I have Alicia Maxwell. My name's Jenny. Welcome back to the channel if you are a subscriber. And if you're new, just we would love it for you to comment below and subscribe and do all the things. And today we're just going to talk about, I believe we're going to be mostly be talking about self-care, but I would love to, Alicia, just introduce yourself first so people get to know you.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Alicia. I'm your beauty bestie. I've been in the beauty biz for a really, really long time, since 2006. So, I lost track of how many years that is, but a long time. So, I've talked to a lot of people over the years in my chair. I do hair. I do it just one day a week now because I got very burnt out. I was not taking good care of myself for a really long time, and it kind of became my way of life for a minute. But now I have another part-time job that I go to, but my full-time job is taking care of these two geriatric pups that I've got here at home. So self-care has kind of been a theme for me for a really long time, and it's something that I'm commonly guilty of neglecting for myself. And so I have some inside experience about what that feels like and looks like when you just kind of stop taking care of yourself because you get too busy, right? Like so many people get too busy to take care of themselves. And we see it
Absolutely.
all the time, every day, right?
Right, absolutely. So wait, step back a minute to the dogs. Like you just kind of threw it in there, but I'm like, you got a couple of geriatric dogs. That means are they handicapped dogs? Like what I know they're old, but like
Yeah.
what's taking all the
So
time? What do you do?
what mostly takes up okay, so I have June, who's a 16-year-old yellow lab, and she's just a little gem of my
Oh
life. I've
wow.
had her since she was a tiny little 6-week-old puppy in my hand. She's my girl. And then I have Bogey, who I've also had since he was about a 12-week-old pup. He was a little lankier, a little more awkward when I got him, but he is handicapped now. So back in 2021, he lost his front leg to cancer, and he's a big boy. He's 80 pounds. So it's a big job taking care of the two of them because one of them, Mr. Bogey, who's bigger, he's physically handicapped. He can't walk on his own. So, um, you know,
Oh,
that takes a lot of my time, and I don't talk about it a lot because, to be completely honest, I fear the judgment that I know people cast upon me for it, right? Because I think that some people would say and have said to me, just put him out of his misery. And I am not, he's not there. He's not there. Like, he's been with me my whole life, and I can tell. And I know that he's like, yes, he can't walk. And I was talking with a friend about this the other day, actually, because man, I'll beat myself up over this. Like, is it the wrong thing to do to keep him here? He's 15 years old now, so it's not like he hasn't had a good long life. But he still plays with us. He still eats well. He still poops regularly. Like there's nothing actually wrong with the dog except for the
right.
fact that he's missing his front leg. So for me, it's just this it's a different decision that I made for myself, and my partner made that with me when we decided to go ahead with the amputation surgery because we didn't know what was going to happen. He's a big dog. I was like, how is he going to poop? How is he going to move around? And for a long time, he could still walk for the first year or two after he lost his leg. We're going on about coming into our fourth year of him missing his leg.
Right.
And it's only been in like the last, I would say, maybe 6 months or so that he really just can't walk at all on his own now. So he's getting older. His
Oh,
body's been taking a lot of stress for a lot of time on that front leg with all that weight because he has to hop. But I took that on as my responsibility to take care of him. So I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to feel any kind of resentment or bad will towards him because this is my choice to take care of my dog, right? So I don't talk about it a lot because
no, my son-in-law did
honestly
that.
I
He
just
had
don't
a
care what anybody else has to say.
I know, I understand. My son-in-law had a dog that got really old and sick, and but he people were like, "Oh, why don't you just, put him down?" And he's like, "Because that's my best friend, and he's not ready to go yet." Because he was
Right. Like,
still thriving, like, eating, pooping, but he got to where he, had to be picked up and laid outside and like just you have to do everything for them because they're not moving around. So I give you a lot of credit. That's hard. that
You
sounds
know,
hard. Yeah.
it's a lot of work. And there have definitely been times where I'll start to feel, God, like I just want my life back. But
Yeah.
I also don't want my dog gone. So
I
which
know.
one
I
is
know.
it?
And I think, well, I think one day, when the day does come, you'll know and it'll be different. So,
For sure. I
and
know the
then
days
the
are
other one
limited.
is handicapped. She's just old.
She's old and crazy, man. We got the other side of the spectrum with her. This bitch is crazy. She lost her mind. And that's actually so back in
Oh.
2021. Yeah, I know. It's been a lot, and I have a lot of feelings about it. We could probably spend an entire episode talking about this, but I won't. But back in 2021, my partner and I had just moved into an apartment together here in town, and it was our first place living together with him living with me and the dogs. And it was in that apartment that Bogey lost his leg. He had the surgery while we were living there. So, um, you know, it was a ground floor place, which was great, but there was a lot of things about it that were really ungreat. Like they sprayed chemicals around our apartment just at random, and I would walk outside and be like, "Oh my God," like, you know what I mean? Like, what is that? I can smell it. And then I would go over to the office and I would say, "Hey, can I have two old dogs over here who've never been exposed to this kind of stuff in their life. So could you maybe just not spray that shit around my place?" And they would be like, "Oh, we didn't spray anything that's not organic." And I'm like, "Bitch, I know what Roundup smells like, okay? I have a dad.
You're
I
like,
have an old
you
school
can't
dad.
tell me it's organic. Mm-mm.
That's Roundup. Like, don't lie to me." And it's toxic. And so that paired with the fact that I'm pretty sure there was also black mold in the apartment. It was ground floor units, and we're here in the Pacific
Oh,
Northwest. It's really wet and damp here.
right.
That's where she started losing her mind. She just started going crazy to the point where for like an entire year we were dealing with no sleep because it was night terrors from her every single night. Like she was just
Oh
up
my
pacing
gosh.
and jumping on the bed, and like I would bring her up in the bed to sleep with me because that was not abnormal for her when she was younger. She would sleep just kind of curled at the bottom of my feet at the bed. She was always like an over the sheets kind of she was great little bed sleeper, kept my toes warm. But as she started to get old and nuts in that apartment, she would start like just like scraping her claws on and she would like grind her face into my head. It was like she was trying to crawl out of her own skin. It was awful.
Oh my
And we
gosh.
eventually were able to get my vet prescribed her it's a human Parkinson's medication, but they prescribe it for animals that have dementia. So that has been helping for
Oh,
her, but she still
okay.
gets the dizzies. She's still kind of wobbly and like she'll fall down sometimes. So I have to keep an eye on her too. Um, it's just a
Oh
lot.
boy.
And over the last few years, their change has been so frequent. Like for such a long time, they would be one way, and I knew how to work with them and live with them. And then once they started getting older, it was like if sometimes it felt like every week we were dealing with something new, and I'm just like, oh my
That's what
God.
happens with children. Children, you just get used to it and then they grow and change and you're like, oh, now
I
how do
have
I do
heard
this?
that. Yeah, I've
Mhm.
definitely heard that about kids. And so, you know, yeah, okay, go ahead and put my kid out of its misery. Like, no, you wouldn't put your child out of its misery, would you?
No,
Like, you wouldn't.
no,
That's not a thing
no,
that we do. So,
obviously. But it does take a lot of your time. So you were saying, so thank you, because I was like, what's the backstory there? Okay, so bringing it into, it's taking you away from self-care.
absolutely. It kind of got to like when he first lost his leg, I had this strong thought to myself where I was like, "Oh no, girl, you're gonna have to get strong because this dog is gonna need your help." Eventually, he was okay at first, but eventually he's gonna need your help. And so I've always kind of kept that in the back of my mind. But just through life and through my jobs and just various, we're all out here trying to survive, make enough money to survive. And
Right.
I just kind of got to the point where I wasn't taking care of myself at all. It was like a sweats every day, unless I'm at work kind of situation, and like I'm showering every couple days kind of situation. And like I wasn't
Right.
sleeping because these dogs were just up all night doing the most. And I got to the point where I was so far gone that I was like, I don't even know how to come back from this. I really don't.
So what did you do? I mean,
I
what are you
started doing my
doing?
own program.
Oh, like, so wait a minute. What'd you do? Are you just Gone? No, you did figure something out because you're
Yeah,
helping
I
people
started
with this, right?
right. I started doing my own program, which is something that, our coach tells us to do for sure. And for a little while I couldn't really figure out what that meant because the program wasn't really created yet. It was just kind of like, okay, if I was gonna help somebody through this, somebody who is in a position like me, how would I help them? And so I started
Right.
writing things down and taking notes and putting things together in my brain to where I was like, oh no, this could actually really help people because it's really helping me. I'm watching it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I know that you were telling me that you would do well, and you've done wonderful things in the past. That's when we met. I've known you to do a lot of different things. So you're offering something now, just to put it out there. So anybody's watching right now, I know you have some offer, right? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I have a 21-day self-care challenge that's coming
That's
up. We're
it.
starting on the 10th, January 10th. We're going to start that for 21 days and just start doing the things that I've been doing that have
Oh,
helped me
wait, then I have
to.
to put this out today because, yeah, wait, today's the 8th. So
It is the 8th, yeah.
the
Well,
10th
even
is
Jenny,
Friday. It
it's
starts
okay.
Friday.
It does start Friday, yeah. It starts Friday, but even if you can't get it out in the next day, that's
I will.
okay
I
because
will. Everybody,
people,
yes, we'll
people
get it
can
out
join even
today.
after the 10th.
No, we'll get it out today. Fine. That's great because, I would love for anybody who can just and you can get people to know about it. So tell us what's involved because, I mean, I'm sure I'll put the link below. You can give me a link and I can share it below along with all
Yep,
your stuff.
absolutely.
Yes, but tell us a
Absolutely.
little bit about it. What's in it?
So every day it's going to be real simple because I know I don't have time for anything that's not simple. So every day we'll get a little prompt that gives you a creative idea of how to love on yourself that day. Things that I've done and used over the years that have really been impactful for me. Um,
Cool.
you're also going to get my self-care affirmations, self-love affirmations, just a little affirmation meditation, I guess, that I recorded. It's something I use for myself every day, and once you've listened to it, you can kind of insert your own phrases to play back in your mind. But just to help people kind of get that self love feeling going again, because I don't know about other people, but for me, when after a while, when you look at yourself in the mirror after so long of just not taking care of yourself, it's like you're not even looking at you. It's like you're looking at a person who
Yes.
you wish you could help, but you can't.
Yeah. No, I do know it. I remember one time I don't remember the circumstances, but I do know I just really gotten like, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time. And that's kind of how it starts in your head is I don't have time, right? You're like, I don't have time to take a shower. I don't have time to
Absolutely.
mess with what I'm wearing. I need to just get out and do the thing I got to do or do whatever. And my daughter looked at me one day and she was like, "Oh, you just gave up, huh?" And I was like, "Oh man, that crushed my soul." Because she was like, "Ever since I've known you, Mom, which is her whole life, she's like, you've always taken care of yourself and like look trim and all these." After I, you know, let it go because I had my second kid was like right after like, I gained 80 pounds and then right after that I went into menopause and it was just like really hard. It was like if I thought of food, I just ballooned. And it was really hard. Yeah, it was so hard. And then with a little infant. So it's kind of like what you're describing where you're taking care of something that needs your all. Then you just don't feel like you have anything, like you put yourself last
Right.
because your
It's
needs
common.
don't matter. They don't, they do though. That's the weird thing, right?
They have to. I mean, we've all heard the phrase put on your own oxygen mask first, right? But as
Yeah.
caretakers, and I know what you're saying is absolutely true for so many caretaking types because I watched my mom do it my whole life. She always put herself last to make sure that she was taking care of everybody else. She still does it to this day. She'll be out in the kitchen bustling around making everybody food. Everybody's got their plate, everybody's got their napkin, everybody's got their water or milk or whatever they're drinking. And
Right.
she's still busying around in the kitchen. We'll have to be like, Mom, are you going to sit down and eat? And I have a sister too, a younger sister, and she's a mom now. She's got three little ones. And so
Ooh.
that's been really, really, yeah. Her oldest is 7 or 8. I should know this. I'm their aunt.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
three to keep track of. But I
Yeah.
think she's going to be 8 this year. And the two younger ones, and she's busy, man. Like she'll tell me all the time, I don't have time. I'm like, Kels, you want to come join my self-care challenge? She's like, I don't have time for that. I'm like, okay, but it's like,
It would
but you should
help you
listen.
do what you do better. Yeah. Oh, how
Right. Like you got
funny.
to put on your
Yeah.
own oxygen mask first. And so even though I'm not a mom, I am a caretaker. So I do resonate a lot with the struggle of the mom sometimes because I've felt it myself. These are my
Well,
kids. They're
you
just
are a
furry and
mom.
all.
Yeah, you have fur mom. Exactly. And that is someone, I mean, these little beings, it's the same thing as an infant, right? They just fully rely on you for their everything. And it can be, I know for me, the other thing that was kind of, I mean, I hate to talk about, struggle, the struggle, but like the struggle bus is real when you feel like you have no me time. And so you're taking care of everybody. And then when everybody goes to bed, that's when you should go to bed so that you feel good tomorrow. But you don't want to go to bed because it's the first time you've had a little me time. You're like, "Oh, I get to think of me for a moment or what I'm interested in or something." So I would stay up late watching videos or something. And it was like kind of a perpetual disaster because then I didn't get enough sleep and then I was tired. And that was all my fault because I could have gone to bed. They say sleep when the baby sleeps. And I was like, no way. When the baby's sleeping, I'm free.
Right. I could totally
Hmm.
see that. Yeah, absolutely. And like these guys, I'm kind of like poop traumatized now because they're not wearing diapers. They won't keep them on.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
So,
gosh.
I'll sit here. I'll find myself just doing really kind of toxic nighttime things as well, where I'll just be sitting here waiting for somebody to poop so I can clean it up before I have to go to bed and like be woken up to the smell of poop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay. So I do think that a lot of people whether it's pets or children, like, this also goes for old parent. Like, if you're in the sandwich generation and you have older parents who you're taking care of, or a
Yeah.
parent that you're taking care of, that's that same thing. They also get to a place where, diapers aren't necessarily off the table, the dimensions.
Right.
And not everybody has the way that, oh, you get to go to a home or something. They have to live at home with you. And then you're caretaking for, again, another person, another living being. It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. So,
My parents just did that with my grandmother. They took care of her for 10 years before she passed. And that was
right.
really hard on my mom. So like when I say I've seen it up close and personal for my whole life, it's really true. I've really seen what the caretakers can go through sometimes.
Has
And
this inspired? No, go ahead.
even though you want to take care of them, like that's the thing that I kind of I tend to get angry. You know my human design. So I get angry because I have, a 9 to 5 that I go to 3 days a week and then I work in the salon 1 day a week. So but I don't want to do that 9 to 5 anymore. Like I'd really love to be able to be helping people like this in this capacity where I'm sitting right here. I got my two dogs right next to me. I can take care of them as they need because they do need a lot. And, I cry every day that I have to leave my house and go to the 9 to 5 because I just want to be
Oh,
here with them.
yeah.
But I get so burnt out that I'm like, oh God, I just don't feel like I have the time to do both. So that's why I've been working hard at, building my online endeavors because I want to
Yes.
help people with this thing that I've had so many challenges with. And B, I there's nothing more that I want to do than be here with my old dogs in their final days. Like, come on. I don't know. I don't have that much time left.
Right. I hear you. Yeah. And there is nothing like working from home. Personally, I love it. I've been doing it 10 years now. And I mean, I gotta say, I highly recommend it. So,
I
because
got a
you're
taste of it.
available. Yeah, you're available for, the people that you take care of. And it's not for everybody. Listen, there's a lot of people that are like, no, work outside the house and everything. But if you're someone like me, it was so draining to go and be around all the people all the time. I actually feel better not having to be on. I always felt like I had to be on all the time, and that was very exhausting. So not every, yes, if you're the type of person who's naturally on all the time, it is better for you not to work from home, probably. But if you're someone
Oh,
like me, and I know you're like me, so it's like we're the types that we can go beyond, but when we don't have to be, if whoo, it's life is sweet.
and I've done my time. I feel like I've done my time. I was behind the hair chair and acting as a salon manager for a decade
Yeah.
plus. So I feel like I did my time in the public eye. Like I want to go be at home now in my sweatpants, please.
Exactly, exactly. But I suppose also with this challenge that you're doing though, the end game is to like feel like recharged or feel better. Like what's the promise of the
To start
challenge?
building little tiny daily habits that you can
Okay.
build on top of each other and like really show yourself that you can spend just a little bit of time for you every single day. It is possible, no matter how busy you are.
I love that. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for
And
coming on. This is the good timing. So everyone watching, go down below and sign up. And I should do this too because I mean, it's one of the things that you think, you assume that you're doing it. Self-care sounds like, oh yeah, I brush my hair or brush my teeth or something. That's not self-care. That's just like it's a part of it, but this is
right. And
more.
a lot of times people
Yeah.
will think that to self care, to focus on self care, you got to book a spa day, you got to go to the hair salon. You don't have to do any of that. I show people ways that they can self care super easily. You can even multitask your self care if you're really busy. I do sometimes. I'll do little things where I'm like, ooh, I'm taking a minute for self care, and it feels good.
I love that. My minute hashtag minute for self-care. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop this recording, but I will see you soon and I will see all you guys later. Bye.